Yeah, good evening to one and all. Today we will discuss the computer, introduction of the computer. We discussed it last day. So we need to discuss what is OS and what are the features of OS. Today we'll discuss. So I think we have, yeah, last day we discussed about that basic components of computer and the central processing unit, that is a CPU. And today we will discuss operating system. There is a Windows operating system. What are the silent features of Windows operating system? And what are the system tools are there, that is a scan disk, wordpad, notepad, and paint. So we'll discuss one by one. Then after that we will discuss what is MS Word and how we can create it, how we can open it, and how we can save the files. And after saving the files only, how we can edit also, we can come to know that and what is the format of text. So then we will check one by one. So as you know that we discussed it earlier, the computer hardware and software. So I'm repeating that is this is called CPU. So within the CPU there is called system unit, also system cabinet. So in the hardware, there is a CPU, input device, and output input units, the memory. I think we did not discuss what is the RAM and also the RAM and ROM. We did not discuss. So today we'll discuss about them. So one more thing, I think I did not discuss briefly about the CPU. So you can take into account that what is meant by CPU. There is a central processing unit. So which is a main thing in our computer. So without CPU, the work cannot take place because the CPU works as a brain. Our brain works in our mind, in our body. So like that, the CPU acts as a brain in the computer. See, a specific chip or the processor, a CPU performance is determined by the rest of the computer's circuitry and chips. The central processing unit, that is the CPU, performs the actual processing of data, nothing but which can act as a what is the processing of data, nothing but so it will take that input from that input devices and it will give the output on the screen. There is a output devices. So the speed, there is a clock speed of CPU measured by the edge, that is a MHz. So here the CPU consists of three things, that is a control unit, the CU, and arithmetic and logical unit, there is a ALU, so which is also very important, ALU, and some registers. So as you know that the what is a control unit, the control unit nothing but it can coordinate all the activities of the computers. For example, as I told you that it will take the input from the input devices and it will be the output to the on the output devices. So it will coordinate between the two things from input and output. So determine the which operation to perform and in what order to carry them out. Then the CU, that is a center control unit, transmits coordinating control signals to the other computer components also. For example, so at the same time, the control unit can be give some control the signals between the components of the computer. Nothing but whatever the components we have discussed in the previous day. So it can control all the signals between these things. So what is ALU? Nothing but here the consist of electronic circuitry to the perform. Nothing but it can give you some electric device. There is a circulation to the to perform the system. So that ALU, that is arithmetic operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. For example, whatever we can do some mathematical calculations, that is arithmetic logical units. So we whatever we can do some addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So it may calculate it. And logical operations, for example, and or not. For example, when you're giving some codes and or not, and to make some comparison less than or equal. For example, when you take less than or equal, also it will take into account. That is called. So it can take all the arithmetic and logical operations. It will consider and it will perform on the base of the input. As you know that as I discussed earlier, this is called a motherboard. So the from input device we can give the input device from the keyboard, so that it will take into account. Then it will circulate to the CPU. From the CPU, it will control all the signals to the monitor, and it can memory, and it can be a drive, So what is mean by primary memory? For example, if you take into account when you when you have some files, so you can save the files. So there is some primary memory which can plays a very important role in the computers. So here memory, that is a fast and expensive short-term memory that is enables a computer to store at least temporarily data. For example, if you open a particular file, if you not save, for example, so automatically temporarily it can save some files, data and programs, and intermediate results also. For example, here the primary data, the general parts, there is a RAM or ROM, and RAM and ROM. So what is RAM and what is ROM? So we'll discuss. These are very important topics, RAM and ROM. So RAM is nothing but full form is random access memory. R for random, A for access, M for memory. Random access memory or primary storage. Simple primary storage. For example, see when you want to purchase a computer, simple they will ask what is the what type of how much RAM you need. So that is a primary storage. We need to store our some files. So that is a primary storage or random access memory. So it is temporarily holds data and programs for use during the processing. So when there is a processing only, it will save some data. Nothing, it holds the some data. And information stored in RAM is lost when computer is turned off. For example, see if you off your computer, so whatever the store or temporarily stored in the RAM, it will be lost. The RAM is a memory that the computer uses to temporarily store the information as it is being processed. The more information being processed, the more RAM computer needs. For example, whatever the process you are doing, so if you want to store when you are doing process, so the computer needs more RAM, more RAM. It will save more. And RAM consists of locations or cells. Each cell has a unique address which distinguish it from the other cells. For example, each cell it has its own address. There is a unique address, so which is distinguished from the other cells. And ROM, what is ROM? ROM, that is a read-only memory. Read-only memory. So it is a ROM is a part of memory. So the program at a manufacturing time, it contents cannot be changed by users. It is a permanent store. For example, whatever we can store some files, so it is a permanent. That is a read-only memory. So what is the second storage? Nothing but the primary storage are the two things. What are the primary storage of computers? There are only first one is the RAM, second one is the ROM. Then there is a secondary storage. So here the secondary storage which has the capacity is more compared to the RAM and ROM. So here the stored data and programs permanently it is retained after the power is turned off. For example, whatever you save some files. So here if your computer is turned off or switched off, automatically the files will be saved in a particular location. For example, if you take a CD, for example, whatever this paper is there, if I'm going to save it, for example, so save option. So here it will ask that where it can be saved, particular location it is asking. So if I'm saying that in the D drive or F drive or E drive, so here the file name I need to type it, then I need to save it. So here, so it will be permanent store. Nothing but if the computer is turned off, so automatically the file will be saved in a particular location. Then, for example, if you take a hard drive, for example, as I shown you in the last day, there is a hard disk. So at the same time, you can save in the hard disk also. Look at outside the CPU, for example, which is outside. For example, if you say take into account pen drive, for example. Okay. So pen drive, if you put it in pen drive with that laptop, so simple you can save the file with the pen drive. So if the computer is turned off, automatically the file will be saved in the pen drive only. So look at outside the CPU, but most often contain the system cabinet. So floppy disk also one of the hard disk secondary storage floppy disk. So as I shown you in the last day, floppy disk and optimum optical laser disk, such as a CD-ROM, CD-RW, DVD. For example, if you take compact disk and there's a read-only memory. Okay, DVD. So DVD, for example, if you take the CD and DVD, so it will save some files. For example, if you take movies also, songs, we will save in the. See, what are the kinds of disk drives? For example, as I shown you that this is a CD. For example, if you take this a flapping, so if you take DVD, in the CPU, in the above part, there is some separate portion. There is a separate part will be there for the DVD and CD. So when you insert, it will goes like this, and it will be read the memory. And what is the common secondary media? So as I told you that this is a chip, and is a diskette is the data represented as a magnetic spots on removable flexible plastic disc. The most common size is 3.5. That is a 3.5 inches. 3.5 inches in a rigid plastic case. The disk drive holds the disk key, reads and retrieves the data. The write or store the data. For example, it can read the data and it can retrieve nothing, but we will get if we lost something, we will get retrieves and write and store the data. So we can write and we can store the data also. For example, if you take hard drive, the data is represented magnetically as with a disk is normally more than the one rigid platinum in a scale unit. These disks are not removable. For example, if you take into account when you save some files in the CD, so there are some removable disk, not removable disk. For example, if you save some file, so you cannot remove from the CD also sometimes. So nowadays the CDs are also developed. Nothing but we can say we can delete some files from the CD and we can add some files from the CD. So earlier, if you say one file, so it consists only one file. Even the space is there, we cannot add another files. So once only you can use it. So nowadays we can reuse the CDs also. And these disks are not removable in the olden days. Significantly more capacity and faster operation than diskettes. So for example, if you take that CD-ROM and DVD, so optimal laser disk, so data is represented as pics and lands. So some kinds are read only. That is a there's read only memory CD, compact disk, and more kinds of reroutable. Nothing but we can rewrite. For example, if you save this file for this PPT, so after enter the file, or if you insert this CD in your computer, so you can open this PPT and you can re-enter also. For example, here you can type your name also. For example, like this. Then you can save, and at whatever the if you save the file, automatically is considered the same. Nothing but this name also will be added in the your file. There is a rewritable. Nothing but we can rewrite and significantly more capacity and faster operating than diskettes. So when you compare the diskettes, this is a CD or RW, there is a rewritable RD, RW. Compared disk rewritable. So when you are purchasing a CD only, they will mention that CD RW, CD ROM. There is a read only memory. Nothing. Once only you can save the files. It cannot be removed and you cannot rewrite also. CD-ROM. So as you know that when you save the files, you can insert the CD. Okay, then it will show the CPU. Okay, so it will interconnect with the CPU and it can interconnect with the memory and it will display the output also. So when you are operating the mobile, sorry, when you are operating the particular disk, nothing but CD, when you open, so it will link with the CPU and memory, they automatically display on the output screen. So this is another output device, that is a piece of equipment that translate the processed information from the CPU into the human can understand. For example, so here, for example, if you save the file in the CD, if you open it from this input device, it will open on the screen. So for example, if your photo is saved in your CD, so when you open with input device, that is a mouse or keyboard, so it link with the CPU and memory, then it will display on the output screen. Then from the output screen, if you take a printout, then like this, it will be display come nothing but processor from the CPU. So from here to then printer. So it will take the pics. That is a picture, or we can say photo. So as you know that the output devices monitor whatever we can able to see on the screen, that is called monitor. So there is a printer is also called output device. So within the printer there is a dot matrix printers, inkjet printer, laser printers, and sound blasters, nothing but speakers, and controlling other devices. Whatever the control device also there, when we are adding others, there is a call output device. Then other software is also there. That is application software, system software. So here we come to know that what is the operating system mainly. So as you know, the software, the instruction that tell us tell the computer what to do. So what the software is nothing but whatever the command is given. So what the command is nothing but that is called instruction. What are the instruction given by the user? So it will work. Nothing but the computer may work. For example, is if you take sir example here, see. So if I am writing that is a, I'm giving BA. I'm writing, I'm typing BA. Nothing but whatever the command is giving by the user like me. For example, I'm writing BA economics. Okay. So here that is whatever the command is giving. So the output, the computer may works. That is my computer what to do. So that is the thing. Application software, for example, whatever the application softwares are there that can help end users perform general purpose task. For example, if you think any task, so it will work properly. And system softwares. So the system software enables application software to interact with the computer. Nothing but so whatever the system application softwares are there, so the system software can enable the application software to interact with the computer. How the computer can interact with the particular application softwares. So the main thing we are going to enter that is the system software or operating systems. Just we can call as a OS. Most of the people call which OS you are using OS. OS is nothing but operating system. So as you know that most of the people they can use that Windows XP, DOS, Apple, Unix. So there are other OS also there nowadays. So there are number of operating system thing, but day by day they are improving. The technology has been increases day by day. So they are developing the new technologies, new OS also. We will discuss what is OS. So that as I told you that the software can control everything that happens in a computer. Nothing but the software is there. Whatever software is inbuilt in the computer. So that's the particular software, each and everything it will control whatever it happens in the computer. And background software manage the computer's internal sources. So what are the softwares are there background to perform the computer? So that can manage the computer internal resources. So as you know that the application of softwares, basic thing, the word processor. For example, if you take MS Word. So for example, if you take this is called, for example, if I want to open the file. Are you able to look at the screen? Yes, for example, see. So here, if you take into account, just a minute, when is it? See, this is the application of software, basic tools, Word. Say, for example, if I want to open the MS, Microsoft Word, for example, see, if you take, so simply if you open or you can take MS Word for example. So it will come the files MS Word which is already existing, or else if you want to know that how you can enter that MS Office file, so simply you can take some of the files are there here, MS Office, Microsoft Office. So here I think I hope you are looking. Is it visible screen? Hello.
Yes, sir.
See here Microsoft Office is there. If you click it here, then it will come. There are Access, Microsoft Access, and Excel, and Groove, and Info Path, OneNote, Outlook, PowerPoint, Publisher, MS Word. So if you click here, Microsoft Office 2007 only. I'm using 2007 Windows only. So that is called MS Office Windows 7. Okay. So if you click here, then the MS Word will be open. So then spreadsheet, that is spreadsheet is nothing but Excel, that is MS Excel. So same thing if you can open like this. So yeah, already MS Office Excel here file is showing, or else if the file is not, if the file is this kind of thing is, if it is not open in your computer, simply you can go all programs, then here MS Office, if you click it, then you will get it MS Office Excel. Then you can open Excel. So this is called a spreadsheet. There are cells and columns are there. Okay, columns and rows, cells. So then if you take that database manager, there is example Microsoft Access. So Microsoft Access also same thing. You can enter, you can go to all of Microsoft Office file folder. Then if you click it, then you can get MS Access. So here this is a MS Access. So if you want to know the contacts, events, and marketing projects, sales, so it will be more useful for that business people. Okay, then start with Microsoft. For example, if you take contacts, okay, so if you want to download it, you can download it. So if you take assets, so you should be select a file, then you can download it. So each and everything it will be like this. So for the MS Access, you may not use more. Only most of the people we can use MS Word and MS Excel. And if you take graphics, for example, Photoshop, the Photoshop is not installed in my software. So meanwhile, you can go to other software also there. I think Photoshop here. Photoshop is not here in my laptop, so it may not open. So if you install the Photoshop, so automatically if you type here, for example, so whatever you need something, so if you enter here, it will come. For example, here if the Photoshop is not here, that's why it is not visible. For example, if you take the Microsoft Excel, then here go to start button, this window button, then if you type it here, so there's a Microsoft Excel. See, the Microsoft Excel is kind. So like this, we can open. So as you know that Microsoft the spreadsheet. So here see that computer software that allows the user to enter the columns and rows of the numbers in a counting book like a format. See, there is a spreadsheet, nothing but the numbers. How many rows are there? How many columns? So automatically see here it will be visible. For example, you can easily. So in this part, see here A1 is there, na? So here you can see. If I click here, there is only A1. See here. What it is visible? Can you say? 2R into 2C. What it means? 2 rows and 2 columns. See, here 3 rows, 2 columns. For example, here if I extend it from here, 3 rows and 3 columns. For example, if you want how many rows and how many columns you want. For example, you may not count like this. For example, you may be different. So here also it may be visible at the corner. See, 22R into 5C. That is called 22 rows and 5 columns. So meanwhile also you can see also here. See, 3R into 6C or 7C. So you can able to look at how many cells you need. And see when you enter some data on Word for example, or Excel, for example. See, so if you enter some dot also, for example, if you enter some values, for example, if you save the files, the save the files. How we can save the file? Whatever the data is entered. For example, if you want to save, so if you directly can save the file, no, save. So go to main file. So here, then click it. There will be some new open save and save as will be come. So if you enter save or save as, you can save as, click save as. Then here they will ask some Excel workbook, Excel macro enabled workbook, and binary workbook, and Excel 97 and 2003 workbook. So most of the people they will prefer this Excel 97 and 2003, because if you save in this file, so automatically wherever if the software is nothing but updated Windows will be there, so automatically it will open. So here if I click here Excel 97 2003, so it is asking that where it should be saved. Nothing but it is asking location where it is. For example, I'm going to click if I want to save the file, the desktop. So I click desktop. So I'm going to write it is a BA economics practice. Okay, so here the type of save, nothing but it is going to ask that, say that Excel 97 2003 workbook. So it may ask the different types of things. So if I save this file, so click the save button, then click it, then the file is saved. So if you close the file, it closes. See, then we want to know that how much the file size. I think the screen is visible, the desktop. Naresh? Hello?
Yes, sir.
See, here there is a file, there is a BA economics. Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Okay.
So then if you want to see that,
Yes,
what
sir,
is the
visible.
size of the file? So simple shortcut. If you click on this cursor, for example, mouse, if you put on the file, see then it shows the type, the Microsoft Office Excel 1997 2003 worksheet, and the size is 17 KB, 17.0 KB, and date modified, that is the 3rd January 2021. The time also there 7:31. So it shows that size. For example, sometimes you may not able to recognize what is the size of the file. Then simple click on the right button. So then you will go to the properties. So if you go to the properties here, if you enter, so some dialog box open. So here you can able to see the size 17.1 KB. So here how much there is a bytes are there? 17, 4, nothing but 17,408 bytes. 8 bytes. So here we can come to know that what is the size. Yeah. So here when you save some files, so automatically it will ask some, if you want to know that what is the size of the file. So here in order to save, for example, if you may compare, for example, in your mobile or in your computer, you may not have the particular capacity or size to save your file. Then you can locate it. Nothing but you can see the properties, then you can come to know that how much the file with size. So here we want to know that how much what is the KB and what is the bytes. For example, as I told you that just now, there is a properties, how much the properties there is a size is how much 17,408 bytes. So what is a byte? So we need to know that what is a byte. Correct. See here, so byte is nothing but one byte is equal to 8 bits. Please unmute Naresh. Naresh, could you unmute? Then here you can understand that what is a byte. The byte is equal to 8 bits. What is a bit? So the bit is nothing but is a binary digit. Bit is nothing but binary digit. Binary nothing but the binary in the sense only there is a 2. So the binary digits is nothing but only 0 and 1. Binary values takes only 1 or 0, 1 or 0. So here, what is a byte? Byte is nothing but 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. 8 bits. So here then byte is equal to 8 bits. Then 1 KB. What is a KB? Kilobytes. Kilobytes. The kilobytes is equal to how many bytes? 1024 bytes. Then 1 MB. So for example, sometimes we can ask some how much MB is there in your nothing, how much space is there in your memory. That is called how many KB, how many GB, how many MB. So that is the case. What is MB? Megabyte. MB nothing but full form is megabyte. 1 megabyte is equal how many KBs? 1024 KB. That is the kilobytes. So sometimes when you are purchasing the mobiles, you may ask that how much GB is there, whether 8 GB, 4 GB, 16 GB, 32 GB, 64 GB, 128 GB, or etc. So your GB, what is GB? GB full form is gigabytes. Giga, gigabytes. So gigabytes is equal to 1024 MB. For example, if you take 1 GB is equal 1 GB is equal how many MBs? 1024 MBs. Then what is a terabyte? What is a TB? TB nothing but is not a disease. TB here, that's a terabyte. Terabyte. So 1 terabyte is equal 1024 gigabytes. 1024 gigabytes. So for example, if your mobile is if you 1024 GB, that is called 1 terabyte. So there is a lot space to store files. So that is we want to know that the unit of measurements, unit of measurement of the files. Sometimes when you are applying for jobs or when you are applying for that entrance or other exams, so they will ask that size of the they were 1 GB, 2 GB, 1 KB, 500 MB or 500 KB, the photo size, the signature size. They will ask some file size also. So that is a they will ask they may ask kilobyte or megabyte. I hope you understood this concept. There's a unit of measurements. Yes. Hello. Hello. Mahesh. Love Kumar.
సార్ చెప్పు
అర్థమైందా?
సార్ సార్
Then as we discussed,
Okay.
so as we discussed that what are the kinds of computer, nothing but what are the types of computers. So as you know that a microcomputer, mini computer, mainframe computer, supercomputer. So we discussed last day. So as you know that microcomputer, there is a mini computers. So what is the laptop, desktop, workstation? So as you know that what is a personal, that is a PC. Generally we can call, do you have the PC that's called personal computer? That is a small and signal user computer based on a microprocessor. So workstation, what is workstation? For example, a powerful signal user computer. The workstation is like a personal computer, but it has a more powerful microprocessor and in general, the higher quality monitor. For example, if you take the workstation, for example, in a software engineering, software companies, so they will provide the high quality monitor. So nothing but when you see, so it may easily we can understand the graphs and there is a graphic, nothing but the design, the colors. For example, you can observe easily normal TVs and high quality TVs, nothing but HD qualities. In HD TVs, you may see the different colors, but you do some graphics. So here in the normal TVs, you cannot able to see much clear. So like this, in the working station, there is nothing but in the companies, they will provide more powerful microprocessor for the computers and which has a high quality monitor also, high quality monitor. So what is mini computer? So mini computer is nothing but is a multi-user computable capable support to the hundreds of users simultaneously. For example, if you take some of the computers which will use a multi-user computer capable of supporting of the hundreds of users simultaneously. And mini frame, a powerful multi-user computer capable of supporting many hundreds of thousands of users simultaneously. And supercomputer, an extremely faster computer that can perform hundreds of millions of instructions per second. So per second, if you give that hundreds of millions, so it will consider supercomputer is a very powerful and very high speed computer in the world. That is a supercomputer. So here, mini computer is supercomputer is better than mini computer, mainframe computer is better than mini computer. So as you know that this is a mini computer disk side, that more processing speed and storage capacity than microcomputer. So general data processing needs a small companies. For example, if you take into account, so how the companies can generate some data. So here, see the more processing speed and storage capacity than micro computers. And general data processing needs at small companies. For example, if you take into account, for example, in your mobile, you may in your laptop, you may have 1 terabyte, 2 terabytes.